Good morning and welcome. Thank you for watching. And my name is Dr. Abdulaziz Yahya. I am the Business Development Manager, CAD/CAM and Imaging in Middle East and Africa. This is my first attempt actually to do this modular online recorded sessions that hopefully will be helpful to everyone watching it to use the system in general. In this session, I will start with the introduction. I will try to keep each video between 15 to 25 minutes, hopefully, and divide it into sections. So when you want to refer to a certain section, you can open the right module. Okay. This is the first module. And in this module, I want to explain that I am sharing the screen now of the PrimeScan unit. It doesn't matter whether it is a cart or whether it is a laptop version. In the cart version, which the one I am using, there are two softwares. One is the Connect software and one is the CEREC software. Okay, this is typical in the cart systems. In the laptop, we only have one, which is the Connect software. So what is the difference between both of them? Connect software is what we use in order to scan and send to the lab. And CEREC software is what we use if we have a milling unit and we want to scan and design and give the order directly to the milling unit. So in this module, we will start with the Connect software. So I will go ahead and double click to open the Connect software. And once the Connect software opens, naturally, what we would like to do is to add a new patient. Of course, you should always remember that around or at this Dentsply Sirona logo, if you click it once, there are many options that appears on the top. We will come back to these one by one, but in the beginning, what we definitely want to do as step number one is to add a new patient. Okay. So I will click on add new patient and I will use the touchpad just to make sure that you can see everything I'm doing. So I'll open the keyboard and I can call it module 1, date of today. Of course, this is if I hide the keyboard, this is important when you send the date of birth to the lab. And so the lab can know the age of the patient. So I will go with the date of today, 18th of February, 2026. Okay. And here is where you would put the file number. So if I would select a file number 007, so this would be the file number. Of course, it makes it easy to find this patient later on. If I hide the keyboard again, once you are looking for an existing patient. Okay. So, and then in the dentist, I would advise you to write your name once, whatever it is. This does not go anywhere. This is only local on this case. So write it once, and then every other time, as you will see, it will just choose it from the drop box over here. So it will be here. So I don't want to write Abdulaziz once and then Dr. Abdulaziz a second time and then Dr. Abdulaziz a third time. If I have it written in one, even a nickname, then I will find it next time. So I will go ahead and just put my nickname. Apologies. So ZEE, and I have everything I need here. Okay. This the assistant can do, and this can be ready by the time the patient is seated. Everything is done. Then we click on Add Case. Then we start the first module or the first segment as well of the software. So the first one is administration. And in administration, we need to fill in what we are doing. Okay. As you can see, we have three options. We have single restorations, in which we can choose crown, inlay, onlay, veneer, or implant. We have bridge restoration, in which we can select the components of the bridge. And we have jaw scan, in which we do not have to say which teeth we are working on. We are not working on a specific tooth, but more or less we want to take the full jaw scan, whether it's just an impression or whether I want my lab to do an aligner or a splint or an impression tray. The scanning does not change. Scanning is always the same way, but these impression aligner, splint, impression tray are there only to be in the order form that will go to your lab technician. Okay. So if you want to scan a patient for the first time, to create a study model, a 3D printed model, to discuss it with the lab, to just see the scan on the screen, I would recommend to go to JawScan impression. I'm just taking an impression, whether it's a quadrant or it's a full arch and so on. If it's a crown or a single restoration, again, and this single restoration, for example, I click on a crown. The moment you click on a crown, and please expand the window just a little bit so you can see, and I like to take the case details to the other side of the screen, just like this. Okay, and also I can expand it. So why did I do this? Because when you expand over here, when you selected crown, it gives you two options. Again, remember you are talking to the lab. There is a full contour option and there is veneered, which means layered, that the lab will produce a coping and layer porcelain on top. Okay, or if you want it as a monolithic full anatomy crown, then it's the full contour. Okay, so I can select single restoration, crown, full contour. Then I need to select the tooth which I'm working on. Let's say in this case, it's an upper left 7. And the moment I click on the upper left 7, these bottom tabs open. These are optional. So if I click on OK, I do not have to put anything right now. Maybe I'm not sure which material I will use. Maybe I'm not sure what the final shade or the stump shades are. Then I can just click on OK. And the case details will be, I want a crown on tooth 27 that is full contour. However, and if I click here on Edit the Restoration, it opens to me the tabs again. I can select material only and say I would like it to be in a material class lithium disilicate. And then I click OK. Then my selection ends here. And then in the case details, the lab will know that it's 227 crown, full contour, lithium disilicate, but they do not know which shade you want, for example. If I edit again, then I can add the final shade Then I can say that the final shade, for example, is on Vita Classic A2. And then if I click OK, I end my selections again without entering the stump shade. So it goes and it adds always in the case details that is going to go to the lab, right? So again, if I delete the restoration, click OK, and for example, I select an inlay this time. So I'll go for an inlay. As you can see, an inlay is only full contour. It cannot be uh, done in a different way. And I will select, in this case, a lower left 6. And I can select my material that I want this material, for example, as lithium disilicate. I want to select the final shade, Vita Classic or 3D Master, even, 1M1 or 2M2. Okay. And I usually do not select the stump shade as Vita Classic and 3D Master, etc. If you have a special stump shade guide, we will put it later on um, in the instructions that we write to our lab. So I will stop here. So now I have an inlay, full contour, 4,6 lithium disilicate Vita 3D Master. And even though it doesn't show here, let's try to extend it. It will show on the sheet, or maybe I can also, yeah, Vita 3D Master 2M2. Okay, if I delete this restoration again, then we can, and I click OK, then we can select the third option, veneer, and here veneer is full contoured as well. If you want it to be layered again, it's not a problem. If you want it to be layered, if you want the lab technician to do any cutbacks, anything, we can always, in the connect phase, we will come to in a separate module, you will see that you can add any instructions to your lab, okay? So here I can select, for example, the 4 anteriors. So you see, I will select all 4 at one time. So single restoration doesn't mean one restoration. It means separate restoration. So it could be the full arch. It could be a full arch of separate crowns. And then I will select material that will apply. Say here, I want to select glass ceramic. Okay. Then I'll go to the final shade. And let's say we want them as, for example, bleach 2 color. And I will click on OK. Then you will see that you have 4 veneers, all full contour, all glass ceramic, all bleach 2. Okay, so I selected the 4 units first, and then I selected the material and shade one time. So I will delete one by one. Delete. So this module is only about the administration and how to put different administrative options. And last but not least, of course, is the implant. And implant, you will have screw retained or cemented. If we select screw retained and select the left 6, then select the scan body type. This is very important because if you are sending to a dental laboratory that is using Dentsply Sirona software, and you really need to ask which software is the lab using, okay? If they are using Dentsply Sirona software, then I would ident these from the first one here until all the way down here. All these selections. There is, of course, a full order form where you can identify all these implants. And in these cases, if the lab is using Dentsply Sirona in-lab software or CEREC software, you will choose from these. If the lab is using exocad software or 3Shape software, you're selecting other. So other means that your lab is using a different software than Dentsply Sirona. And in this case, you will use the scan bodies compatible with these other softwares. It would be the exocad software or the 3Shape software. And then we will select material. Again, let's say it's zirconium oxide for this case, and select the final shade. There is no stamp shade, of course. Let's say of A3. And then you will see that this is an implant on 236 screw retained zirconia Vita Classic A3. We will come back to do cases in other modules, but this is just a full, let's say, explanation of the administration phase for different indications. If we go to the bridge, then I can select the components of the bridge. Let's say I have a crown on tooth number 7 and tooth number 5, and I have a pontic on tooth number 6. Okay, so this is how it's done. You select first from here, from the indications, then the tooth. Okay, again, if I cancel, so let's say, for example, I have a crown on tooth 7, tooth 6, and tooth 4, for example, and the pontic. So I chose all the abutments together, the crowns, and the pontic on tooth number 5. Okay, so then I would select material. Let's say in this case it's zirconium oxide. Then I would select the final shade, Vita Classic A2, and I do not wish to select the stamp shade, so I will click on OK, and then you will see, if you click, you get all the details. So it's a bridge 44 to 47, zirconium oxide A2, and if you click down here, you can see which tooth is an abutment, a crown, and which tooth is the pontic. Okay, so I will delete again the restoration. Of course, it can be implants as well. So if I'm doing a big implant case, I can choose implant. Let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. It's an all-on-4 case, and pontics are all the rest. Okay, so this is how it would look. It would look four implants, and all the rest are pontics. Select scan body because this will mix between both, and you have to select for all. So where are the implants? You have the implants on tooth 1-6, other, because I'm sending to exocad. 1-3 is other, so you have to select all 4. 2-3 is other, and 2-6 is other. Then you're good. So you have to select all implants one by one as other. Then you select material. Again, let's select zirconium oxide, or let's say I want to do it as resin for now, or I want to do it from a precious metal. Up to you. Select the final shade, Vita Classic, let's say A3.5. Click on OK. We go back and you will find bridge, precious metal, Vita Classic A3.5 from tooth 1-6 to tooth 2-6. And if I click on the arrow, you get all the details, and you can see that implant full contour third party. This means that the third party is the software. It's a different software, basically 3Shape or exocad. Okay, Pontic, and then implant third party, and then the Pontics, and then on the other side, you also have the implant third party and third party. Again, by third party, it means the lab software you are sending to. Okay. Let's delete the restoration. Okay. And last but not least, as we said, the Jaw scan. The Jaw scan is where you can scan an impression. So you have a patient coming to you that you just want to scan. I would go to Jaw scan impression. You do not have to select any teeth. You do not have to select any material, any shades, nothing. I just want to take an impression, upper, lower bite. Aligner is exactly the same. You're asking your lab to produce an aligner and you will scan, you will not choose anything and you will scan upper, lower bite. Splint is exactly the same. It's just a message to the lab, but the scanning technique is the same. Impression tray is the only difference because impression tray is, let's say you're working on dentures and you want to create custom-made trays, and you are scanning upper and lower, but not a bite. So in impression tray, the bite is not mandatory. And this is a trick that we use whenever you have a patient that you have previously scanned, and you want to scan now a new upper and lower, but you do not want to scan a bite, even with preparations or anything, or scan bodies, use Jaw scan impression tray. This will allow you, the only option that will allow you to scan both upper and lower without a bite. All the rest is mandatory to take a bite. Okay. So again, this briefing, we have single restorations, which could be crowns, inlays, veneers, implants, or a mix. Okay. It could be a bridge restoration where we select the components of the bridge, and it could be the Jaw scan, impression, aligner, splint, or impression tray. Thank you very much. This is the end of the first module of administration, and we'll come back to the next module where we will go on a specific case, administration, then acquisition and model and sending to the lab as well. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day.